Hello and welcome to Movies with My Dad, the podcast where I, film critic Tina Kakadelis, take my dad Stratis to the movies. This week we saw Last Breath, directed by Alex Parkinson, starring Simu Liu, Finn Cole, and Woody Harrelson. Join us on the spoiler-filled car ride home. Okay, it's recording.
All right. What did we watch, Tina?
Hello, Father.
Hello, Tina.
We watched a secret movie.
We did. It was a secret movie. Why was it a secret movie?
They just did. AMC just, and I think Regal and Cinemark also do this, where they'll put out a cheap ticket for an undisclosed movie, usually close to when the actual film is released.
So how much less money is it for if you don't have the pass like we do?
It's like $5.
Oh, wow. That's an awesome deal.
It's a very nice deal to come.
So this is just so they can get
word of mouth.
Word of mouth?
Mm-hmm.
So what did we see?
Well, we're not going to be giving it any word of mouth because this is going to come out in like 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You mean ours is coming out in 2 weeks, or the movie's coming out in 2 weeks?
This episode is coming out in 2 weeks. The movie comes out on Friday.
Maybe we'll go early. Anyways, what did we see?
We saw, I don't remember if it's The Last Breath.
I think it's just Last Breath.
Last Breath, and then the documentary might be The Last Breath.
Oh, there's a documentary too?
Yes, there is. Last Breath.
With Woody Harrelson and two guys I don't know.
You know Simu Liu.
Who?
The diver who didn't almost die.
I've seen him and stuff, but I don't know who he is.
He's in one of the Marvel movies. He's the guy with the 10 rings, whatever his name is.
Is that the... I don't even know what it's called.
Somebody in the 10 rings.
Oh.
I don't know.
I thought you were just going for his, style of dress.
No.
And who was the other kid? The Irish kid?
He was very good. I liked him a lot. I think he was Scottish. I don't think he was Irish.
Do you know who he is? Aberdeen in Scotland, right? Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we should give a little, since you don't know.
No,
do you know? You don't know.
Finn Cole?
Sure, let's just go with Finn.
Oh, let's not. Okay, what was the plot?
So the plot is very simple plot. Not a lot of moving parts. It is
some might say a big moving part. The boat.
Okay. It's a group of deep sea divers who go to the North Sea and work on offshore oil wells. Pipelines. Well, the oil well and pipeline all together.
Yeah, but they're not on the thing.
Correct. So it's 1,000 feet or so down, and they go down to repair things. So there's three guys that go down to the diving bell, and then 2 guys go down to the ocean floor. I guess they were only at 300 feet, right?
They said 300 meters.
That'd be, that's 900 feet. So 1,000 feet, basically, down.
And then they fell further. So
yeah, another, 50 feet or something.
For sure.
So the concept was they dive down, the ship's above them, they're umbilical down to the diving bell. They get out and then they go repair something. Right. While they're down there, they're not supposed to be down there very long. They do their job and they get back up.
They're supposed to be down there for 6 hours.
Oh, working on the...
Yes.
Oh, sorry, you're right. 6 hours down there. So, I don't know, 10 minutes into their shift, the ship above all of a sudden loses all control. All of its thrusters and navigation, everything just goes haywire.
No. Okay, they didn't lose all control. They lost the GPS locking system that they had.
They lost all control of...
No, they did not.
Yes.
Who did research prior to this?
Not me.
Me. So they lost essentially the autopilot capabilities of the ship to keep them locked, hovering over the dive site.
So if one would say if your ship is adrift in the ocean, it's lost control.
But that's acting like they can't control their thrusters. They can control their thrusters.
It's not meant to be controlled by manual, as they told us.
No, but it's still done as
So they lost all control.
Oh my God.
And then tried to reestablish it manually.
I just think your word choice doesn't make sense. It just does. It paints a bleaker picture than what actually happened.
It was bleak.
No,
they drifted off by a long way from the dive site.
Confusingly
Anyway,
measured
so
in
the
feet.
boat. Well, the English and Scottish, they go back and forth. Anyway, so the boat drifts away, pulls the divers off of the pump thing they're working, the manifold they're working on.
So did you pay attention?
I paid all kinds of attention. And then one poor guy gets his umbilical snagged on something. And for a few minutes there, his umbilical was literally the anchor holding the ship in this roiling ocean until it snaps. Isn't this a good synopsis?
Well, no.
Then the poor kid has to change over, because umbilical has all his air and everything else. He has to flip over to
his power, his comms,
everything. He has to flip over to supplemental oxygen that is supposed to last 10 minutes. Go. Your turn.
Go what?
What's next?
You just want to spoil the whole movie?
Well, this podcast is always spoilers. How are we going to do without spoilers?
I guess he lives. The end.
But how long was he without oxygen?
29 minutes, which is bonkers.
Completely bonkers.
And he lived, and he's fine, and he went diving again 3 weeks later. Could not be me.
Went back to work.
Could not be me. That is insane.
It is insane. So the true story is absolutely insane. But the movie portrayal, what'd you think?
I give them credit as someone who has seen part of the documentary and who interviewed the composer, so read about everything before I did the interview.
The composer of the documentary, the composer of the movie?
Interestingly
he
enough,
both.
he did both.
Yeah,
It was a
okay.
very interesting conversation, filmobsessive.com. But I was impressed with how they were still able to maintain tension as somebody who knew all of the beats of what was going to happen.
I guess I assumed he was going to live, but I sure did not know how.
No.
It made no sense. I'm like, they made a movie where the guy dies? Because there was no way after 20 minutes that I think he was going to survive.
So did you think that he was dead?
For a long time, I'm like, he's got to die. How is this possible? But here's my impression of the movie, though. I really liked it. I thought it was excellently done.
I think Woody Harrelson put in a performance that he has not put in a very long time.
That may be true, but I actually don't. Woody Harrelson is immaterial to me about this movie.
Well, that is crazy.
Hang
you
on.
laughed at his jokes.
I did. It was fine, but the way they presented this movie was not sensational. It wasn't all rah-rah machoism, let's get the job done kind of stuff.
Correct.
It felt, I mean, you can't say it's like found footage, but it's awfully close. It felt real.
So if you watch the documentary, it is the actual footage that those guys shot when they were down there.
I mean, even the people
I know.
on the ship, the people, Woody Harrelson.
I mean, the ship part, a little sensationalized for me when the man went into the room to override whatever he had to override.
Okay, that was
and
a little...
he just, unplugged a couple things, and I was like...
Was that in the documentary?
I didn't get that far.
That one did feel a little bit like... so he's the chief engineer or something of the ship, and he goes and tries to restart the computer without doing a 3-hour restarting activity.
Which again
doesn't really
feel
matter.
economical.
Other than he cuts some wires and MacGyvers it together.
Yeah.
It did feel a little bit like Star Trek. It's like Scotty down in the engine room.
Right.
I need more power.
They did make a Star Trek reference. Did you enjoy that?
No, I didn't catch it.
Oh, they called Simu Liu's character the Vulcan. They said you're riding with the Vulcan today.
Okay, I guess that's a Star Trek character. Yes, I realize that. But he was just
Is Vulcan not
It is.
exclusively Star Trek?
The way you said it sort of implied that it was sort of a
deep cut that I would pick up on?
Okay, everybody knows what a Vulcan is.
Yeah, and yet you missed it. So who's the
I got
fool
it.
now?
It didn't really matter. I moved past it.
For sure.
So what did you think about the portrayal?
I liked it a lot. I was really surprised. They got me. I cried.
It's hard not to.
Oh, you cried?
I thought about it.
Just admit that you cried.
I did not actually, but I did. I thought about it.
You were heavy breathing for a while.
I was heavy breathing. It was getting tense.
The use of sound in this movie was so fascinating and so very interesting, and all of the crushing metals and the just hopelessness of being down there, and then the moment when I was thinking a lot about First Man while I was watching this, the Damien Chazelle movie about the moon landing. and that's like the mirrored use of sound in the two of them, and like the scene when Neil Armstrong steps onto the moon for the first time, and the way they cut the sound there felt very similar to how they cut the sound in this one when the umbilical cord snaps, and just like that jarring nothingness, especially in like a huge theater and like the huge surround sound, is just so impactful. And then they didn't overuse it. Like that was the only moment where they just cut everything, and you were just like, oh.
That was real. That was
a very, very good moment. I really love that. And that's when it kind of like sold me of like, oh, I see. We're taking a true story that was already a documentary. We're adding a little style to it that we couldn't do in the documentary, but we're also still not turning it into full Hollywood made up nonsense, which is actually something the composer mentioned. He was like, I don't know if we need to do this. And then like the way that they presented it to him, he was like, okay, yeah. Because he was very adamant, Paul. Shout out, Paul.
That they would ruin it? He was worried?
He was very worried, and he was very adamant that he didn't want to be part of them just like Hollywoodizing it. And I don't think that they did.
No, I feel like what they could have done is made it into that, what's the movie where they go after the asteroid?
What?
No, you know that movie, Meteor or Asteroid. It's like from the 80s or 90s.
It's not ringing a bell.
Oh, it's got Armageddon. That's it.
Okay.
That's sort of
I've never seen Armageddon. I just know.
Oh, Tina.
What's the isn't "Don't Want to Miss a Thing" from that?
You really your ability to know
thing.
Classic movies. If they're not French, I don't know. I question.
Okay, and who raised me and didn't show me classic movies?
Who knew you liked movies? You never made it obvious to me. You were a very quiet child.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, so they did not treat this like big dramatic Hollywood blockbuster treatment. This felt intimate.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
I was shocked.
I didn't love...
Because you did not want to see this movie.
Okay, let's calm down a little.
Well, all right. You were not excited to see this movie.
I wanted candy in case that things went south.
That's true.
Is that so wrong? I didn't love... I get that the wife character had to exist and was forced into this very limited role, but I don't.
There's nothing else they could have done.
No, but I also I knew that they had to have the reunion of the two of them, like the guy who basically died, and then his wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is.
Yes.
But I was like, no reunion is going to like feel right for me.
Oh, you mean when he got back?
Yeah.
I thought they played it pretty well, but the only reason they really needed her, right, was so they could play the actual footage of their marriage in the credits.
That's true.
You couldn't play that footage, and that footage was great.
Incredible. Right? Best
and
joke.
The guy that was the dive master, whatever they call him.
Woody Harrelson?
The Sat Dad, I think it was called.
Sat Daddy.
Sat Daddy. They never... Anyways, the real guy sort of had a little Woody Harrelson look to him. Did you notice that?
Yeah. They did well.
And I think they could have done this movie without Woody Harrelson. It didn't need a big name Hollywood actor. Just a good actor. And Woody was really good in this. Although I will say...
You already said that you didn't need him.
I need him as a Hollywood star. Just a really competent, good actor is what you needed there. No names were fine because I didn't really know the other people. And they gave great performances. I didn't know the captain. I didn't know the other dive guy on the boat.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit of a hard sell.
I think they did this to bring in somebody to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Which
I think
is
without
fine.
it's a hard sell.
Right. Because Woody did a great job.
I was genuinely surprised.
The only critique I'd give, it's mostly in the storyline. I don't think they needed his B storyline of this is his last time going out. The end of his life. I mean, it's fine, but I didn't need it. It wasn't. The movie was full.
Oh my goodness!
For something that didn't have, I know. For something that really didn't have a lot of story, it had a lot of movie. If that makes any sense.
None.
Thanks.
None. Nothing but respect to those people that are in those tin cans down there right now, because my goodness, I could never do that.
And I think
couldn't even be on that boat moving like that. Absolutely not. I was just thinking about the cruise that I was on last month and thinking about if it hit a wave like that, I would have just
Well,
The ocean, we weren't meant to be in it.
Oh.
I'm with the wife.
I disagree
At the
completely.
beginning, when she was like, we weren't meant to be in the ocean, I was like, girlie, we aren't. Leave the killer whales
Well, then you would say we're not meant to be in space either.
No, I think we should go to space. I don't think we should touch the ocean.
Oh, no way. Space is... I mean, the ocean is much scarier than space.
Yeah, the ocean's horrifying.
Right.
We shouldn't be there. That's what I'm saying. I would much rather go... If you give me the option, go fix a pipe like this person did, or go to space... I'm picking space.
I mean, the worst part about it at the bottom of the ocean is it's so dark.
It's horrifying.
I mean, the environment's about the same.
They did such a good job showing how utterly horrifying it is.
I agree.
Okay. We're home.
All right. How many, what? Dive bells? They didn't actually use it, but...
What?
No. You know,
Dive bell's the thing that they were in.
Oh, that's true. All right.
I don't think you paid attention to this movie, and yet you loved it.
I'll give it a solid 4, with no reservations for everyone.
That is crazy.
Except small children.
You don't want to take the little.
No, I don't want
there.
to. I don't want to take anyone
Little
that young.
7-year-olds.
No.
I think it's like a 3.5 for me. 3 maybe.
Weak, Tina.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week's episode of Movies with My Dad. You can find all of our episodes online at movieswithmydad.com. You can also send us an email at movieswithmydadpod@gmail.com. My dad is desperate to hear from you. You can find me, Tina, on Twitter at Captain Ameripug or Letterboxd at Tina_DOCX. You can find my dad at our local Home Depot. Tune in next week when we head back to the movies.